Well, we're out at the cabin site again tonight. It's been super hot recently, so we haven't been out very often, just enough to keep the grass down. Speaking of which, the last time I was out, I was concerned about keeping it down because I thought it was poison ivy. Can confirm, my arms have been absolutely covered with it. It's not been fun. So I'm actually, you'll see later, I've got a long sleeve shirt with me. It's still way too warm to have a long sleeve shirt on, but I don't want to deal with that again. I also thought I'd talk with you guys first before I did work so you don't have to see me as a sweaty, sloppy mess. But tonight I wanted to just give a little bit more background about myself and mostly my faith journey. When I was born, my dad was Catholic and my mom was Protestant. And they had been in those respective churches all their lives. And neither really wanted to convert. So what that meant for me as a kid is every Sunday, we would go to 8 o'clock Mass and then go to Grandma's for brunch and then go to I can't remember, it was either 10 or 10:30 at Mom's church. So I was in church a lot as a kid. The joke in our family was we were so happy once Easter Sunday was there because we would have been at least one church every day of Holy Week. We do both churches on Holy Saturday, and then both churches Easter Sunday morning. So as kids, we were just like, oh my gosh, can we please not be in church? But looking back, it was such a blessing. So I did not grow up in the Catholic Church, however. I was confirmed in the Protestant Church and first of all, I was a kid. So, I wasn't, I wouldn't say I was on fire with my faith, but I don't know how many kids are. I had faith and kind of that stage where you have your parents' faith. And then I want to say maybe the summer before 8th grade, maybe the summer before freshman year, one of those two, a really good friend of mine and the girl I was dating at the time went to a Baptist church camp and came back absolutely on fire for their faith. And I remember telling them, one of the first nights they were back, I was like, what is up with you guys? What's going on? Like, you seem amazing. Oh yeah. So they told me all about the camp and, they fell in love with Jesus and in that church, accepted Jesus into their hearts and were saved. And I thought, man, just the look on their face and the way they carried themselves, I thought, I want that. And so over that next year or so, I kind of started going to their youth group and doing different things with them. And then later got very involved in a Baptist youth group. Had a good experience there. I was very, very involved in FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, through high school. Over the 4 years of high school, well, I'll say it this way, over my first 3 years of high school, my faith was just growing. I was on fire for the Lord. I was, inviting people to church, friends to church and to FCA meetings and all that stuff. And, then it was about my senior year, I kind of hit a point where I felt like at the time that kind of that spiritual candy, the good feelings, the retreat highs, all that stuff, they just weren't sustaining me anymore. I just felt like there's something missing. Like I love the Lord and I love my faith being on fire, but I just don't feel it anymore. And so it was in that time, then obviously as a senior I graduate. I go off to college. I went to Benedictine College in Atchison, Kansas. Go Ravens. Catholic college, obviously. Went to play football. It was the only reason I went to play there, or went to school there. And it was over my freshman year at Benedictine, I got involved in a Bible study, a focused Bible study, Fellowship of Catholic University students. Had some great missionaries there with us, and really started to wonder about the Catholic Church. I didn't quote unquote grow up Catholic, but I did. I wasn't Catholic, but I grew up around the Catholic Church. Maybe that's the best way to say it. But it was around my sophomore year then that I decided, you know what, I really want to dig into Catholicism. It had been a big part of my life, but I didn't know very much about it. And thankfully, at Benedictine, I had endless resources there to learn about the faith. And so while I was at Benedictine, I think it was my junior year, could be wrong, I think it was my junior year, I was confirmed in the Catholic Church. I've grown to love my Catholic faith. I've had struggles with it over the years, like I think most people have. But that's kind of the road that led me to where I am. It's an interesting road. I don't know. At times I kind of wondered, like, you know, why couldn't I have just been Catholic from birth? Or even, you know, wonder why did my parents do that? You know, I could have just as easily been raised in the Catholic Church. But it happened that way for a reason. And I'm actually very thankful for that journey, because I've been able to experience the Baptist church, the kind of mainline Protestant church, dabbled in the non-denominational a little bit early in high school with a friend, but eventually it all led me to where I am. And so I'm just thankful, and I feel absolutely blessed that I got to have those experiences, and now I am a part of the one true church. And I hope that little bit of background can maybe make sense as I'm talking about different things and different experiences. I just thought it might be beneficial to know that story. Maybe it's not interesting to you, but it is to me, because it's my story. Okay, we are out at the cabin site. Not only is the push mower broken down still, but our riding mower broke down too. So the grass got a little bit on top of us, and so we had to load up a bunch of the clippings and bring them out. Thomas hit his bike in there, so we got a little work ahead of us to get rid of that and get some weed eating done. Well, old Tommy boy's cashed. He's ready to go home. One thing I like about coming out here, and it doesn't always happen, but I come out with one or two or three objectives, things I want to accomplish. Ditch all the grass clippings, weed eat the cabin site, and to be able to come to a place I love and accomplish a couple of tasks that I feel are important. It's very rewarding. So we're going to call it a night. One last message to you guys that I've been thinking about. I want you guys to know that I'm praying for you. Some things that I've learned recently about myself has really helped me to understand how many of us are really struggling. Not in like a severe way. I know there are people that struggle in a severe way. Just that day-to-day grind. Getting up, getting the work done, making sure all your responsibilities are taken care of, and it can just get heavy. And so I want you to know I get that, and I'm praying for you. We'll see you next time. All right, once again, I let my grass get way too tall, so I had to haul clippings out here. Been a challenging summer to keep up with the lawn for some reason. Well, a lot of the reason, to be honest with you, is my mental health journey, and I'm just had to be okay with letting some things go for a while. But I can't let this grass sit on the trailer anymore, so we're gonna unload it. I'm now starting to realize that I left the rake and the shovel at home. Sweet. Come on. All right. Really need to get that push mower fixed. Stop. You're making bad YouTube videos. Did you know that? Finished up the weed eating. Got the grass unloaded off the trailer. Just wanted to take a few minutes and just sit here and enjoy. Get cooled off a little bit. Like I said, it's not nearly as hot as it had been, but it's still warm enough. A couple other things I keep forgetting to talk about. It shows up sometimes in the background of the videos. I've got some highway noise. I'm about a quarter mile off of a highway. Just a 2-lane numbered highway. And so every once in a while I'll get just some highway noise. So I do apologize for that. I do try to edit it out when I can. Sometimes I can't. I think once I upgrade, possibly if I can upgrade to get a better microphone or to just go to an actual camera instead of using my phone, it'll get better. But until then, I'll keep it out as much as I can. The other thing is the dog. So you guys have seen Bingley in a number of the videos. He is a Yorkie poo. My kids get a kick out of a lot of the outdoor channels that I watch. Off-grid cabin guys. They all have dogs, and they're all normal-sized dogs to big dogs. And so my kids just think it's hilarious that the dog that I have in these videos on my channel is a Yorkie poo. So his name is Bingley. That is from Pride and Prejudice. He does not actually belong to us. We are kind of indefinitely dog sitting. So he's along for the ride. He absolutely lives to come out here though. He does really well. I was concerned because he's still very young. I think he's 1. If he's not 1, he's very, very close. But I think he's 1. So he's still young and learning. And so at our house, he can be pretty spastic sometimes, especially with all the kids around. But I bring him out here and he's as good as gold. He never gets too far away. He's a pretty big scaredy cat. He does not like the weed eater or the chainsaw. So he just kind of stays at a distance, and yeah, he does pretty well. So he's a pretty decent dog. Getting trained a little bit better. What's funny, what he's really good at is when he can tell somebody's upset. Well, he's really good at being able to identify when someone's upset. The funny thing is, his solution to that is to jump up and lick your face, which is a very big pet peeve of mine. So we're working on that. But he's very sensitive to people's emotions. You know, as a puppy, obviously, he's sensitive to excitement. But it's funny how sensitive he is when he can tell you're not in a good place. And it's not always crying, you know. It could be one of the kids crying or any one of us, and he'll want to get up and lick the tears. But even sometimes, you know, I'm just kind of feeling off, I don't know, I call it in a funk. But he'll always come find me and hop up on my lap, or if I'm in the recliner, he gets up on my chest and lays there, and it's he's pretty good for that. You know, it's funny, I was listening to there's a podcast called Just a Guy in the Pew. Highly recommend, go give him a listen. He's on YouTube as well. Guy's name's John Edwards. He has an incredible conversion story. I really like him because, as the title suggests, he's just a guy in the pew. He's not a scholar, he's not a theologian, anything like that. In fact, what he does now, his ministry, they go around and start men's groups at parishes. And obviously has a podcast on the YouTube. But anyway, I digress. I was listening through his podcasts, and one of them was about finding a refuge. Finding somewhere to go, whether alone or with family, with close ones, that makes it easier to be in prayer and to get away from TV, the phones, the laptops, the tablets, get away from all that stuff, and just, he talks about sitting out on the front porch of his dad's farm and just spending time listening to the wind blow through the trees. And I sent him a message. I was like, man, you're spot on. You got it. And it was just really cool. I think for two reasons. One, I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's a little validating, right? Makes me feel a little less crazy about this project I've got going on out here. But two, it brings me joy for him and everybody that listens to that episode and seeks that refuge out, because I gotta tell you, it's just different when I'm out here. It's just quiet. There's a lot worse places to be than outdoors, away from everybody. To listen to the wind blow through the trees and listen to the birds. You guys can't see it, but I got a dog on my lap. Not bad. Not bad at all. I don't know if you guys can hear that. There's some geese flying over. Well, it's getting to be about that time. I think we're going to head out. Appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. Up, 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 up. I'm always on the lookout for deer when I'm out here. They're really, really thick on this property and the surrounding properties. But I imagine spending 30 minutes running a weed eater is probably not very conducive to them wanting to come check things out.